BJP decision in which both parties decided to continue alliance for the forthcoming 2023 Assembly elections. And BCC says the move reflects that July 16 resolution of the core committee that gave hope for settlement to the Naga issue had been thrown to the dustbin. Eastern Naga Students Federation calls for continuation of existing relaxation policy for graduate teachers until its demand for the establishment of Bachelor of Education institutions in eastern areas is met. The federation also expresses agony over government's apathy towards the issue in spite of persistent implore and reminders. Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi and Chief Minister Nltv Rio extend greetings to the Ao community on the occasion of Tsungrimong Festival. While Governor Mukhi wished for good health, happiness and prosperity, Chief Minister Rio hoped for essence of the festival be alive and foster love and oneness. Enforcement Directorate produces Chief Senate MP Sanjay Raut before a special session court following his arrest in connection with Mumbai Patra Chawal scam. Raut's arrest in the alleged land scam case sparks protest by party workers at several places in Mumbai. Following a ruckus by opposition leaders on various issues, both houses of parliament adjourned till 2 p.m. on Monday, while Lok Sabha adjourned as opposition parties demanded repealment of suspension of 4 Congress MPs. In Rajya Sabha, opposition continued sloganeering, demanding discussion over price rise. Hello and welcome to Nagaland TV. You are watching news now with Chipen Kung. Let's look at our stories in detail. Nagaland Pradesh Congress Committee on Sunday stated that it supports the settlement of the agreements between the Government of India and the negotiating teams. However, President of the committee Geturi stated that when he thought the people's representatives have finally understood the aspirations of the stakeholders of the July 16 resolution, he was wrong. Furthermore, he said that instead of pursuing the resolution for settlement, it is shocking that seat-sharing agreement between the Nltv and the BJP was flushed in the media. Hence, the people's hope of settlement for the Naga issue was thrown into the dustbin. At the same time, he noted that after all other meetings on the issue of Naga political problem, the core committee of UDA would rush to Delhi with the resolutions. But he pointed out that, surprisingly, this time neither the core committee nor the allied partners have gone to submit the resolution. Meanwhile, Thierry mentioned that settlement of the agreements will benefit both Nagaland and Nagas outside of Nagaland. For Nagaland, the political structures would be improved by way of delimitation of Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, State Assembly and creation of the upper house. The Eastern Naga Students Federation on Monday called for continuation of the existing relaxation policy for graduate teachers in math, science and Hindi till its demand for the establishment of Bachelor of Education institutions in eastern areas. In a press release, the ANSF noted that it is well conversant of the impediment faced by the aspirant students of eastern areas due to lack of B.Ed colleges and has been relentlessly putting forward a series of representation for allotment of such colleges. However, the Federation is agonized to express that the persistent implore and reminders made to the government have yielded no positive response till date. Meanwhile, the relaxation policy, which came into force on January 9, 2009, stated that the shortlisted candidates belonging to the 6 tribes in the Eastern Nagaland shall be given 5 years to obtain professional qualifications instead of 2 years as mentioned in the relaxation order. Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi and Chief Minister Nltv Rio today extended Tsungrimong greetings to the Ao community of Nagaland. Mukin took down the Twitter and wished for good health, happiness and prosperity. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Nltv also hoped that the essence of the festival be alive and foster love and oneness. Notably, Remong, traditionally celebrated by the Ao Nagas, is a time of thanksgiving to God for bountiful harvest. Council of Ringma Baptist Churches organized a seminar on clean election movement on July 30 at Christian School Hall, Seminyu Town. Notably, Joint Chief Electoral Officer Awal Lorin and Deputy Commissioner Dr. Zasekole Chusi graced as resource persons. Village council leaders consisting of chairman, head GB, VDB secretary, council secretary under Seminyu district joined the seminar. Meanwhile, village council leaders resolved to enforce election code of conduct in their respective villages. Furthermore, it also resolved that no village council authority, clan or KEL should declare a majority solid support officially in favor of a particular party or candidate, whereby curtailing other voters or candidates' rights. The Dimapur Bengali Students' Union held its general election on Sunday, where the union elected its new office team. The House unanimously elected Dipangar Sarkar as president and Rajat Ghosh as its general secretary. Monodip has been elected as Games and Sports secretary and Santoshi to look over women affairs. The new team will serve a tenure for 2 years from 2022 to 2024. Governor of Assam and Nagaland, Professor Jagdish Mukhi, visited Gurdwara in Dimapur, where he met leaders from different communities residing in Nagaland and felicitated them with scarves and appreciated for the great coexistence. Governor said that this is his personal visit other than an official one. While speaking to Professor Jagdish Mukhi, Nagaland TV team questioned him in the state border check gates, where few are still practicing illegal taxation and movement of heavy loaded trucks above 30 tons. Mukhin, a response, stated that some people are loading more than 30 tons in order to smuggle or scam, which is against the law. Governor also mentioned that he has more plans to implement in the state. Still, though, the order which was passed earlier is working accordingly.
I told that so far we have been successful to remove all these barriers imposed anywhere within the state. Our next target is to remove the barrier with the interstate. It may take little time, but it's definitely we are on that path, because it does not serve any purpose. Because of the GST implemented, though there is no fun of having these barriers at all. This is what I feel so. You see, I told you, when all the barriers have been removed, extortion on these barriers is removed now. What remains in interstate? Interstate, our next step is there. I will definitely, I assure you, it will be removed.
So we would like to know about regarding today visit of your today's here, regarding your visit here today. So what was the purpose here?
Oh, this is a private visit. This is, I believe, in Guru Granth Sahib. And my flight is just now, after 20 minutes. I carved out some time to have darshan.
The Assam Rifles on Saturday organized a medical camp and joined Indian Army campaign under Agnibat scheme at Yongam village in Longleng district of the state. Earlier, pro-defense of Kohima Lieutenant Colonel Sumit K. Sharma on Friday had announced that an army recruitment rally under the recently announced Agnibat scheme for all districts of Nagaland will be held at Rangabahar military station in Dimapur district from September 7 to 23. Furthermore, the detailed notification giving out eligibility criteria and other details can be accessed from www.joinindianarmy.nic.in. A library was inaugurated at the Durbar Hall of the Superintendent of Police in Tunsang Town on July 30 under Project Sarvodaya. Notably, Tunsang SB Vishal during the inauguration maintained that the work of police is not only about physical power, but it is also about mental maturity. Meanwhile, the library is set to remain open from morning 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and evening 4 to 8 p.m. It is set to be free of cost upon issue of library cards. YouthNet founder Hekani Chakalu submitted a proposal for Mega Youth Multipurpose Complex in Naharbari, Dimapur to Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Anurag Thakur. Notably, Hekani Chakalu was accompanied by MP Korav Kokoi along with a member of the Northeast Leaders Connect. Meanwhile, it may be mentioned that Chakalu submitted the proposal to Thakur after discussion with the Naharbari Village Council. Nagaland recorded 3 fresh COVID-19 positive cases on Sunday. Notably, Dimapur, Kohima and Mogakchung reported 1 case each, which took the total case load to 35,778. Meanwhile, the state's active cases is 83, while the death toll remained unchanged at 770. It may be noted that India reported 16,464 COVID cases and 24 coronavirus-related deaths in the last 24 hours. On the occasion of World Breastfeeding Week, the Nagaland Health Mission on Monday reminded the people of the state that mother's milk is the complete food for a baby. Furthermore, they urged the people of the state to initiate breastfeeding within half an hour after the birth. Adding on, the health mission informed a baby should be exclusively breastfed for 6 months. Notably, the World Breastfeeding Week will be celebrated worldwide from August 1st till 7th. The Assam police on Sunday arrested 2 drug dealers and seized huge quantities of heroin worth approximately Rs 8 crore in the international market at Pokajan in Assam's Karbi Anglong district. Based on a tip-off, a joint team of Assam Police and the Central Reserve Police Force intercepted a vehicle at Kotkadi in Pokajan along the Assam-Nagaland interstate border. During the search operations, 75 plastic soap cases containing 966 grams of heroin were found concealed in cavities, which were made under the back seat of a car bearing number WB74P4456. The drug dealers identified as Solomon and Simon, both hailing from Nagaland's Pek district. Taking to Twitter, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma appreciated Assam Police for their excellent job. Shiv Sena leader and 4-time Rajya Sabha member Sanjay Raut was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate on Sunday in connection with the Patra Jawal land scam case. According to sources, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut left the ED office and reached the JJ hospital in Mumbai, where he will undergo a medical checkup. Later, he will be produced before the PMLA court. Meanwhile, showing solidarity, ex-Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray visited the Shiv Sena MP's residence and met his family a few minutes ago. However, Union Minister of State for Home Affairs of India Ajay Mishra Teni slammed the opposition for politicizing the arrest of Sanjay Raut. He said that he is completely guilty. The investigation has been going on for a long time and there have been many actions and inquiries, stated Teni. On Monday, just a few moments after the parliament proceedings started in both the houses had to be adjourned till 12 p.m. due to continuing opposition protest. While in the Rajya Sabha, Shiv Sena MPs protested against the arrest of Sanjay Raut by the ED, TMC MPs also joined their protest in the Lok Sabha. The opposition MPs protested against the suspension of 4 Congress members. However, yet again, the Lok Sabha had to be adjourned till 2 p.m. after it had resumed its proceedings due to the ruckus caused by the opposition. Meanwhile, the proceedings in the upper house resumed despite of continued sloganeering by the opposition against the price rise, misuse of ED and the Agnipath scheme. Furthermore, as the proceedings in Rajya Sabha resumed, Aam Aadmi Party MP Rakaf Chadha highlighted on the lake of water in Punjab. Replying to this, Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat stated that the problem of underground water going below the level is persistent throughout the country and that the centre is taking measures to control the problem. Later in the day, amidst the continued sloganeering by the opposition, the Rajya Sabha also had to be adjourned until 2 p.m. In a big announcement, Mamata Banerjee on Monday confirmed that the Trinamool Congress-led West Bengal cabinet will be reshuffled and new appointments will be made. While addressing a press briefing, Mamata Banerjee announced that the cabinet reshuffle will be done on August 3. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also stated that there will be 4 or 5 new faces. This comes after former Minister Partho Chatterjee was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in the SS recruitment scam case. The CM took charge of the departments on Thursday after his arrest. Banerjee now holds charge of 11 departments, including the 4 held by Partho Chatterjee. Home Minister Amit Shah on Sunday, while presiding over a joint national executive meeting in Patna, stated that BJP and the Janata Dal United will contest elections together in 2024 as well. Shah reiterated that Narendra Modi will be BJP's prime ministerial candidate. Meanwhile, the party's alliance with JDU in Bihar was also discussed during the meeting. BJP General Secretary Arun Singh further supplemented that the 2024 election will be fought under the leadership of PM Modi and he will be the Prime Minister of the country again, and that there is no confusion regarding that. The Bombay High Court on Monday refused an urgent hearing of 2 petitions challenging the Maharashtra government's decision to rename Aurangabad and Osmanabad cities. Notably, a division bench of Justices Prasanna Varal and Kishore Sant stated that there was no urgency to hear the 2 public interest litigations. The court further that nothing will be done without or with any electrifying speed. On the sidelines, it may be mentioned that one of the PILs was filed last week by Aurangabad residents challenging the renaming of Aurangabad as Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Meanwhile, the second PIL was filed on Monday by 17 residents of Osmanabad against the state's decision to rename it to Dharashiv. Sunday marked the last date to file income tax return for assessment year 2022-23 for salaried employees and Hindu undivided families whose accounts do not need to be audited. According to the Income Tax Department, more than 5.8 crore ITRs were filed till 31st July. Meanwhile, the government maintained that there will be no extension in the due date. Notably, taxpayers who fail to file their returns by the due date would have to pay a penalty from Monday. Furthermore, there is a fine of up to ₹5,000 on belated ITR filing, which can be done till December 31, 2022. On late Sunday night, 10 people died after a pickup van carrying passengers en route to Jalpaj got electrocuted in West Bengal's Cooch Behar. Soon after the incident, the passengers were rushed to the hospital where 16 people out of 27 in the van were referred to Jalpaiguri Hospital for treatment as they sustained minor injuries. According to the police, the incident may have taken place due to the wiring of the generator of the DJ system in the van. Meanwhile, the additional superintendent of police, Madapanga, Amit Verma, said that the vehicle has been seized, but the driver has escaped. Police are coordinating for relief and assistance. He also informed that all of the passengers belong to Sidalkuchi area and their families have been informed about the tragic incident. Further investigation is on. On Sunday, 3 persons traveling in a car died after a train locomotive rammed into their vehicle at an unmanned level crossing at Buranigudam, Bikoyochuk, Naga district in Assam. The victims were from Samaguri, Delia, Amdal village, Chandrakumar Kalita, Nilima Devi and Sani Kalita. According to eyewitnesses, the driver of the hatchback, bearing registration number AS02N 4402, was unaware of the approaching train locomotive. Showing exemplary performance on the third day of Commonwealth Games 2022, Team India logged third gold in the event. Weightlifter Achinda Shiole gave India its third gold medal by Commonwealth Games record total lift of 313 kilograms in the men's 73 kg category. With this, the medal tally of India rose to 6. Notably, till now, India has won 3 gold medals, 2 silver and a bronze in the 2022 edition of the Commonwealth Games. And with that, we wind up. Thank you for tuning in. This is Chipen Kung.